Hello, it's Jennifer. Today is June 14th. It's a Friday, and I decided to go ahead and make a mid-June video. So the gardening is in full swing now. This is the patio princess plant. I've already taken 5 tomatoes off of this. It's a very productive plant. Unfortunately, the tomato that I have tried so far was not very good. It was kind of mealy and not sweet at all. Very tomatoey. So I imagine that some people might like the taste, but I really can't deal with the mealy texture. So I'm hoping that later tomatoes will taste better. So those tomatoes grew when it was cool for the past month, and now suddenly it's gotten warmer. So the past few days we've had a couple days in the hundreds and then 2 more days in the 90s. It's moderating again today back into the 80s. So I'm hoping that these tomatoes here that are now ripening will taste better. But anyhow, it looks like the plant is mostly done with its production, and that the tomatoes that are on it now will be the tomatoes that I get from these 2 plants. And I think that's pretty good. It's just that if the taste doesn't improve, the taste or the texture doesn't improve as more tomatoes come, I can't recommend this plant. But anyhow, I recommend the size of this plant. Moving on here, these are the plants that were inside that I had to take outside because they just were too big, really, to have an indoor tomato plant. So I decided, at least for us, and my husband started grumbling, so I went ahead and took them outside. They also started getting powdery mildew indoors, and I don't understand why that was happening unless the powdery mildew is carried on the air. So I'm going to assume that. So I took them outside, I sprayed them with neem oil, and they seem to be doing nicely outside. I thought that they would just get burnt up, but nope, they're fine. This one though looks like like it needs some supplemental nutrition or something. I'm not sure. I should see some sticks in here somewhere to say what these are. This one is Katana, and lots of side shoots on this one. I think this one is better than the one that's over on the other side of the garden that was always outside. This one is the Ace 55. And I'll be working on this. This one may need also to be put in an area that's less hot. And this one is the Red Pride. Also out here is the Napoli. And this one's starting to flower. Actually, I think all the ones that were inside were starting to flower. And moving back to our other plants, this is the bush steak, and it's got some really nice sized tomatoes on it, and they are starting to blush. For comparison, I have well, my hands aren't big, they're long. I have long fingers. So anyhow, but for comparison size, this is the size of these tomatoes. They're really, really nice. So far, no cracks, no cracks. I'm crossing my fingers, no cracks. So these are some good looking tomatoes. I've already recommended the bush steak because the tomato size is good, the taste is wonderful, and the plant size is very manageable. So this plant here looks like it's just shy of 3 feet tall, and it also looks like it's almost done with its production. The new flowers that are coming on aren't sticking, so I think that what I've got now is what I'm going to get. This here is the Little Bites, and I've been taking tomatoes off of this one for a while. These tomatoes are actually slightly sweet. They have a good pop to them when you bite them. I do recommend this plant. It's still producing. It's very short in stature, so this plant is like maybe at most 16 inches tall. and it produces a lot of tomatoes for its size. So yeah, I recommend this plant. And the tomatoes, they taste like really good little salad cherry tomatoes. So yeah, little bites here. Over here, I believe, is a jalapeno, and it's surrounded by some onions. The onions are doing well, and this little plant here is doing well. I'm surprised because this is a sunny corner of the yard. Peppers in my yard usually get fried by the sun, but this one seems to be doing just fine. Over here is the Tasmanian chocolate, and it has just taken off since I removed those other onions that were in there with it. And it now has two main branches. It tried to sprawl on the ground, so I went ahead and attached the two branches to the pole so it would grow upright instead of spreading all around. And finally, it's flowering. Hopefully we'll see some fruit on this soon. This is a super bush. It's maybe getting better. I don't know. It looks better than it did. And it's got some flowers on it. It's got some fruits down here. But it's nothing like what you see in the pictures for it, which, you know, it shows this big sprawling plant that's, you know, low but wide. I may try this for the third time to see if I can get a decent plant. Maybe I should try seeds from a different seller, different manufacturer, grower, whatever you would call someone who generates seeds. And then next to it are some red potatoes from the grocery store. And I moved these from another planter. They took them a while, maybe a couple weeks to really get firmly into the ground, and now they seem to be doing just fine. Some ants crawling on it. Check that out later. And here are the banana plants, and they're getting along. I guess I need to fertilize them or something. But that little one back there that was the daughter of a banana plant that died is doing really well. And the other plant on the other side of the yard that sprouted a daughter, that daughter is doing extremely well also. So I think that's interesting that the daughter plants are doing much better than the parent plants, which makes me wonder whether these are going to spin off daughters as well, that are maybe more acclimated to the environment here. So over here in this steel container, I had a very nice surprise. There is an orange cauliflower in here. So these plants had gone drastic. As you can see, the leaves here are huge. So I thought that these were not going to flower at all, and so I'm so surprised to find this nice beautiful cauliflower in here. These two here haven't done anything yet, but it gives me hope that perhaps if the leaves survive the snails and the slugs, they'll get something from them as well. And the next planter are my peppers, and here's my Decunio, and it looks like the big one here is starting to blush. And my padron peppers, there's lots of them on here. I could pick these at any time. They have been variably hot, but so far they're tending towards the hot side. This is my Jimmy Darndello, and it has one pepper on it that's starting to turn colors, so it's blushing. And then more of the padron back here, and that is the yellow monster. So it's got some small peppers that are starting. And then over here is my poblano mix, and we still haven't figured out what these mixed with, but the plant is very prolific. It has a lot of these big peppers on them, and so far they've been very hot, and they have the smell of a Chinense pepper when you cut them open, and the general taste of one, but in the size of well, I guess kind of a poblano. Although poblano pepper is also called ancho, are wider than this. This kind of has, I guess, maybe the big shape of a like a big habanero. That'd be so funny if that's what I've got. But anyhow, my husband liked these peppers a lot, so I'll probably plant the seeds again and see what I get next time. And then over here is my eggplant, and this is a Rosa Bianca, I think that's what it's called, or Rosa Blanca. Whatever. It's one of these white eggplants that has the purple blush on the bottom. So that's that. And slowly over here. Get away from me, bee. Oh, this is the lovage, and this is the plant that I grow instead of celery. It tastes just like celery. It's growing pretty well. It's supposed to get 5 feet tall, but so far it's maintained its height and has become bushy instead. I like that. These here are the Cubanelle peppers. It looks like they're starting to blush, and I believe, I'm not sure what that one is. I thought it was a Cubanelle, but it looks like it might actually be something like an Anaheim. We'll see. My big beautiful bell pepper with the stinger. Waiting for that to lighten up, maybe start turning yellow or red. This is my sweet Spanish pepper. And of course the Scotch bonnet back here, and it looks like it's struggling, but I'll cut it back and it'll come back. And then back here is the Stupid's tomato, which has nice big beautiful tomato leaves on it. And it looks like it's starting to flower. So we'll see what this tastes like. I like the size of it so far. I'll show you this from afar because this is the bee's domain right now. But these are some of my squash plants. As you can see, there's a big butternut right there. And then, let's see if I can get a little closer. Don't sting me, bees. Don't sting me. There's another butternut in there. It's really big. And here's the other side of the squash box. This cucumber right here actually gave me a cucumber, which I picked yesterday. I was surprised because it has so few leaves and it was a pretty big cucumber. So I'll be tasting that sometime today. This, I've learned, is a kind of yellow crookneck squash that you shouldn't let get big. So maybe about 4 inches, and then, you know, pick it between 3 and 4 inches. If you let it get too big, then it gets all seedy and dry and gross. So I don't know what kind of squash it is I planted, but they're really buttery tasting. I like it, but it's so hard to get out here before they get too big and seedy. And here are the potted plants. So again, I had to bring the ones that were inside outdoors. So this is the Inca Jewels here. And this one is looking quite a bit better than the first plant I planted. And this one is the Oregon Spring. And it's looking pretty good. Fresh salsa peppers down here, which there are a lot of them for this little plant. Oh, neighbor kids. They sound like they're having a good time with their imaginations. And then the spices over here. And the citrus plants. So the mandarin orange, the Mexican lime, and the pink lemonade. And then these two little guys. So these are some new guys I bought at big box store. And this one is the Husky Cherry Red. And then this one back here is the Yellow Canary. So the Yellow Canary is another one of these plants, tomato plants, that's not supposed to get above a foot. It's already got flowers and a little bit of fruit on it. And then The husky red, in my understanding, is it's supposed to stay low and spread. So we'll see how these get along in this pot, whether this pot's big enough for the two of them. And I kind of wish that, you know, I've been able to find some seeds for these earlier, because I think I would rather plant them out myself than get the starts at the big box store, but this is what I had access to. And my stick here has totally faded, but this is the hyssop, the bee balm, my avocado plant. And the basils in here died, which was very surprising, but the oregano lives on, so yay, viva la oregano. And my blueberry plant's in here in a cage, hiding the berries away from the birds. We've already had one blueberry harvest and had ourselves a nice batch of pancakes. These blueberries are very flavorful and sweet. I've long forgotten what blueberries these are. I want to say they're blue mist, but I could be wrong. Those out there are escaped, so we'll see if the birds eat them. And over here to the Atlas tomato. And so far, some good looking tomatoes on here. The plant itself is sparse compared to the plant that I had last year. And it also has far fewer tomatoes on it. So, I don't know what factor that is. Is it the place in the yard? Is it this container? So this container is deeper than the one last year, but it's not as wide. Or some other, you know, care that I gave the plant last year that's different from this year. I don't know. But this is a more manageable number of tomatoes though. And so far they're not splitting. So the one I had last year, although it had lots of big tomatoes on it, they all split, and I was only able to salvage part of 2 in order to get a taste. So hopefully this year, fingers crossed, that I can get a few whole tomatoes instead of, you know, split ones with insects in them. This is my corn. It's starting to get to the stage where it's tasseling, so that one way in the back there, let's see if I can get it, has started to tassel. Oh, this one up here is tasseling. So I'm very happy with this corn so far. Nice height, not too big, about so far 4 feet. So I think this reaches ultimate height of 5 feet. So that's good. All right, moving over to some other boxes here. This is my little herb planter, and this is some dark sage, culinary sage here, catnip, something called oyster leaf down there, this little guy, 2 leftover carrots, a strawberry that has decided that this is its home, so I'm going to leave it alone, and a couple of onions. So this is a little 2x2 bed. Oh, actually it's 30 inches by 30 inches that I got from IKEA a few years ago. I'm very happy with it. IKEA unfortunately does not sell these anymore. But you can get a lot on a 2x2, on a 2.5 by 2.5 bed. So just a demonstration there. These are my newest tomatoes. And who are you? I don't know who this is. I've forgotten. Oh boy. Me and my farty brain. Okay, oh, here it is. This is delicious tomato. So we'll see if this is truly delicious. I think I've grown this before, but I grew it too late in the season and I ended up with nothing. This is the Principe Borghese, so this is a drying tomato. It shouldn't get too tall. I think it tops out about 4 or 5 feet. It's a very delicate looking plant. Hello, doves. Oh, nope, that's not a dove, it's some little bird. Ah, I've got birds all in my yard. Oh, some flowers down here. This is the black sea man, and it's doing better than when I planted last year. So it's got potato leaves, nice big flowers on it. We'll see how this one goes. This one's not supposed to get any taller than about 5 feet. This is the pineapple tomato. It really, really wants to sprawl on the ground. I don't know what to do about that. I keep trying to support the branches that are trying to reach down so they don't snap off and fall, but I think I need to think of a different planting strategy for these tomatoes that want to sprawl. Perhaps a low trellis such that they can get up on the trellis at about 2 feet and then start spreading. Okay, over here is the Chadwick cherry, and it looks like there's one here that's ready to pick, so I'll come and pick that one later and give it a taste. The heat from earlier this week basically dried out all of the leaves that were suffering in any way from disease. So it's kind of a dry wasteland under here, but on top it's very green. That is the Reka, and she's got one ripening tomato there. It's going to be a nice, beautiful pink. Reka are one of my favorite tomatoes, so they're, in terms of the tomato, their texture is kind of actually crisp. It's a lightly sour but mostly sweet. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very nice, juicy, crisp tomato, and I can't wait for these to ripen. I like eating them on sandwiches. I like eating them alone. I like them in salad. They're a really good tomato, and it's too bad that I can't find seeds, so I just get plant starts at the local nursery. So they're not sold at big box store. This was sold at Green Thumb. Green Thumb had every once in a while brings in a collection of Japanese varieties of vegetables, and so I start stocking the store in April to pick up my plants. So Reka's doing great, not too much disease. It's a good plant in my yard. Right back here are some more pepper plants. This looks like a serrano, but I don't remember growing any serranos, so I don't know what that is. It's probably some hybrid that the bees created. I'm not sure what this is either. I seem to have not labeled them. I know I moved them from a different bed to back here, and I didn't bring the labels with them. Oh, this is a Jimmy Nardello here, and it's not doing well. So again, Jimmy Nardello is kind of a bust in my yard. Are there sticks over here? No. No sticks over here. And I know that that one's a jalapeno back here. This is my spinach. I have to cut this back. It's probably done too because it's just coming up small now. And my Swiss chard is getting kind of warm, so it's trying to flower now. It kind of got unmanageable because we can't eat this much Swiss chard and the leaves are so big. But we'll see what we can do here, whether we can keep the plants going or whether we need to stop them. Here is my other Reka, and it's got another little tomato on it too. It's turning pink. Such a beautiful color, and lots of tomatoes coming along. This is Momotaro, and it's coming along. It had some trouble with the heat, but the tomatoes look fine. This is some basil, and over here some leftover either broccoli or cauliflower plants. We'll see if they actually produce something. And then over there are some new tomatoes. So that's the Pantano Rosso. And let's see. Over here are the royal purple green beans. And next to it is oh, that's the Pantano Rosso. This is another Pantano Rosso here. And so the green beans are starting to produce. So that's good. Another one of these, I think this is probably a cauliflower. And over here we have, Pandarino. It's kind of skinny. I think this is like a cherry tomato or maybe a grape tomato. And this one is the Better Boy. And I'm surprised how skinny this is. But they're all starting to flower, so that's good. Over here is a Gallia melon and a couple of tomatoes. I think tomatoes are these. Oh, who are you guys? My stick's over there. See, that's the jelly melon right here. These are, let's see, the Odorico. So the Odorico tomatoes, I believe it's a cherry variety. We'll see. This is the French one, Madame Marmande, I think it's what it's called. It's very bushy. I like the way this plant looks, and it looks like it's doing well over here. And I'm kind of blocked in. So this is the other daughter banana plant. Looks really good. It grew really fast. This is the dying parent. It's hollowing out, so I'll just go ahead and cut this down and let the daughter through. Over here are our yellow green beans, and there are a few of them. Not enough to make a meal or a side dish, but they're coming along. They've climbed up the pole now and I think are saying hi to the grapes up there. And then over here is the Mandarin Cross tomato. So it's got three little guys down there. It struggled with the heat and disease, so we'll see how that goes. This is the, who are you? You are faded, but the Cordoba. It's got a few down there. I didn't think that it had any tomatoes. It's been struggling with the heat and the disease as well. And the vintage wine. Probably have to try this plant for a third time. Again, the disease just got it in the hot weather. So there's plenty of stuff going on up here. So maybe I'll get some more chances for fruits up here. I don't know. But it looks like even up here, the powdery mildew is attacking it. So it's been a very bad year. So down here I got some plant start for my for my watermelon, because I have a hard time starting watermelon. So I just went ahead and bought a Sugar Baby start, and it's looking pretty good so far. Bee enjoying his balm. And over here are these round zucchini. So I planted this one myself. I finally got into the ground and it's already starting to take off. Over here are my lemon cucumbers. And these are grown from seeds that were grown in San Diego. So they should be acclimated to San Diego. And then it's sharing a bucket with, I think, another Odorico tomato. Over here is Katana. So this is the other Katana. It's looking pretty good too. And then this is the Glacier that was inside, that I took outside. It's been having a real hard time. So I moved it from the other side of the yard where it gets sun most of the day to over here where the sun covers it about 2 o'clock. It looked like it was just struggling with the heat and the sun. So we'll see if it does better over here in a cooler part of the yard. It bounced back pretty well after just moving it yesterday. So yesterday it was all limp and dried out. Looked like it just wanted to die. Hopefully it's better today. My carrot patch over here. Oh, and then over here, the Inca Jewels. So like I said in previous videos, this one's really surprising. Nice big beautiful fruits on here. Too bad it's so few of them. But I really like the size of this plant. And so I'm hoping that I can figure out how best to plant this in my yard. That is if the fruit tastes good. We'll see that. But there's one down there that's ripening. These other ones are blushing. And one of the bush steaks. So this one didn't do as well, but still some nice fruits on it. The other bush steak. It got attacked by powdery mildew, so I had to remove a lot of its leaves, but lots of great tomatoes on here, and it looks like it's done. The other bush steak. Great tomatoes on there. And another, the Madame Maman. Back here is that mystery cherry tomato. It looks like some fruits are close to ripening. That Chica over here. Chica's got a few fruits on it, not too many. I would like to try Chica again, but I can't find any more Chica plants. And then over here, the old-fashioned red. So I've had better performance out of old-fashioned red in terms of the amount of fruit, but the size is what's expected. That big beautiful one right there, it's still having problems with the powdery mildew. So I may have to give the tomato boxes a rest over here, or it could be just due to how crazy the grapes grew this year, that it could just be an ideal environment for powdery mildew. I'm not sure, but it's been tough. And the Castroluto Genovese over here. This is another pineapple tomato. So the other one's doing much better. I don't know, above the grape, the plants are doing much better. They've actually grown into the sun. This is a black creme. Again, not looking so well under here. Another black creme. There's a small one that is ripening. And then moving on out here, as you can see, I've got plenty of grapes. We don't know what to do with these. I think we're supposed to be cutting some of these grapes back, but so far we're just being cautious and seeing what happens. And over here is a Pandorino. Oh no, this is the Paul Robeson. This is the Pandorino, another one. Another Pandorino. And I hear a bee, and I'm going to go away because it's in its bee balm. The Sugar Rush over here. And I would go digging around, but I'm afraid of bees, or at least I'm afraid of getting stung. And so that wraps up the tomato boxes over here. Lots of fruit. Probably going to have to get these plants out early and then start a second crop of something. I'm not sure what yet. but it looks to me that I'm gonna have to give tomatoes a rest over here until I figure out what's going on with the powdery mildew. And then over here, the green beans, so they kind of double and triple back on themselves as they've run out of pole. So this is the Kentucky pole bean. Down here, a nice broccoli. The tatsoi is flowering now. And this is the mizuna. It grows back incredibly fast, very weedy. And over there is, I think it's like a red Russian tomato, something like that. And the chamomile, the dill, the marjoram, the variegated basil, that's a new guy, and of course the parsley. And then the golden, it's not bee balm. Well, it's a golden version of one of the balm plants I have. And then over here are the edamame, so the soybeans, and the Abe Lincoln tomato. Some onions back here, green onions. It looks like there's a potato plant in there, more balms for the bees. And I believe these are Oregon Spring and Glacier. The same with these. My gorgeous poppy. Say hello to the world, gorgeous poppy. It's got 2 more heads, so I'm excited that it's not just the one. The dragon cayenne, doing well. And some more of these, I think this is either the Glacier or the Oregon Spring again. And surrounded by, looks like a weed. And a bunch of, I believe this is oregano that has grown out of flavor. So I need to pull some of this back because it's taking over this area. And that's all for the garden tour.